that Sonakshi has a certain glow that a lot of other actresses just don't have. 380s came and literally like they took me into the corner of, what do you think, I'm gonna inappropriately touch her or something like that? That's the kind of feeling that I was getting. Like a lot of these Russian guys who are just being picked up from Goa, you have no idea of who they are. They don't have any idea of acting or what is to be done. They have no camera knowledge. It's pretty normal. I've been doing it since a very young age. I followed a lot from my father.
Okay.
I wake up in the morning. I have copper water, about 1 liter. Yeah. After that, I have fruit. It's usually seasonal, something like a papaya and pomegranate, and then 10 eggs.
10 eggs?
Yeah.
Just the egg whites?
No, I have.
Whole eggs?
I have in every 5 eggs, I have 1 yellow.
Okay.
So
Okay.
2 yellows, 10 eggs. And then depending on my action for the day, it will usually be some form of carbs. I like ragi. I was just recently introduced to that. I think there's a lot of fiber. I think the calcium amount in that is also quite high, so I like that. Otherwise, it's sweet potato. I love sweet potato, and it's powerful. And then I eat probably about 1 kilo of meat a day. So,
1 kilo of meat?
yeah, and that's pretty much it. A little bit of rice, white rice, and yeah, that's pretty much my routine. I work out for maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, depending how much time I do have. And yeah, I love going for walks. So in the evening, if I get 20 minutes, maybe half an hour, just go for a nice walk. I think based on my look, you obviously, I understand that as a director or a producer, you would see me as, especially let's go Bollywood, I think you'd see me as, you know, an Angrez, an English guy. I mean, I'm hoping that things will change from here. I'm hoping that I can change that perception of me. I do understand where it comes from. In the South, you know, all the movies that I've done there, again, yes, also looked on as a foreigner. But given all those lead villain roles, and I like it, to be honest. You know, some people ask me, you know, do you want to be the hero? Yeah, I would love to, obviously. You know, why not? It would change something completely. But it's not that I have a problem playing the negative guy. I think that a hero is only as good as the villain. So to have a hero shine, I think the villain needs to be extremely villainous.
Absolutely.
And I think that that's shown in Heeramandi, because I think the people that were, you know, you would say out of the women or even Taha, yes, I think that I was able to, you know, prop that up a little bit more. So I mean, I'm willing to play other roles too. I hope things are going to change. I'm not the movie maker, so it's not in my hand. But yeah, let's see what happens. I think it's the obsession
Negative
comes, yeah, or positively. I think that it comes from the oppression and suppression.
Lack of education?
That as well. I think that this space is not thoroughly explored with any other artists. So I think that again, yeah, it's a section of filmmaking in India that is, I think, yet to be exposed in that sense. So obviously the hunger is there. The numbers are definitely there. As I said, I have a lot of, you know, male fans at the moment. I was in the airport the other day and I actually got more males coming up to me than women. And appreciating that. It's something very different for me. So I know that my own fan base are quite shocked that, you know, I would do something, because they've always seen me with... Yeah, they're always watching me with heroines. It's always been, you know, bad guy, you know, sidelined with the heroine. So, yeah, I think it was something very new for them as well to see me in that avatar, you know. But it's interesting. It definitely is interesting. I mean, I was hoping obviously for, something as far as the styling goes, but again, I'm thankful for the opportunity, to have been showcased because I'm there throughout. To be alongside so many heroines as far as Bollywood goes, it's never happened with me before. Um, I think there could have been a slight more touch, which maybe, because when I asked Sanjay, I said, do I like these women? And he just looked at me and he said, no. But then a couple days later with his other director, Mitakshra, when I was working with her, she asked me, she said, why are you so cold with these women? So I said, because Sanjay sir said I don't like them. So I felt I could have kept it a little bit softer and not been so kind of standoffish in a way, because I mean, we're humans, right? So even an officer sleeping with a prostitute and having that relationship, I think that there eventually over a time, there is a certain softness that comes with it. A roughness, maybe that's also there, because in sex there's both. There's the soft and there's the rough. But I think that, I definitely could have maybe portrayed it in a slightly softer way with them. I thought at first it was the regular, very one straight line kind of guy. Yeah, he comes in and he's whacking everyone because that's all I'm reading. I didn't really sit there and read the entire screenplay, which maybe had I had the chance to do that, I would have seen Cartwright in a slightly different light, but I only got a chance to read, what was made for me. And I think for me, in my process, I think I would have been able to process this better had I had more time also with my directors to sit down, work a little bit on who I actually am. Because, I mean, there were quite a few directors there. There was Snehal, there was another one, Abhiruchi. And and it wasn't a continuous shoot. It was quite broken up. I would come for 3 days and then not be on set for 3 weeks. And then again, I would come back. So I think in my mind, somewhere I was a little jostled. I wasn't settling in. And what happens, I think, because I've been on quite a few movies, over an extended period of time working with a team, the different nuances of that day start to affect your character. Of course, that would have been something that I think would have brought out a lot more of who Cartwright was. So for me, the preparation side of actually working with my directors, I felt sometimes I was arriving on set and everybody knew what the scene was, and I didn't even know who the actresses were. I even thought at one stage, one of the actresses, I won't give her name, but I thought one of the actresses was an AD. And then she came dressed up, ready for the scene, and I was like, okay, but no one introduced me. So I don't know who's there on set. It's like, okay, today's today, you're working with these guys. So obviously, I've done this authoritative position before. I am, the bad guy, as everybody says. So I do take authority of that space, I do start to command that space. But I felt preparation was a little bit less. And I don't mind doing it. I think it's a time that, Hindi में बोलते हैं कि जब chance मिलते आपको dance करना ही है. और I hope that I did it. But I feel that, especially since Hindi is my second language, it's not my first, I like to have a little bit of time with the lines and the dialogues. And I think on that part as well, it wasn't given to me with enough time for me to sit there, let it soak in. And look, that's a director. If the director comes to you and says, change the dialogue, it's not looking good, you should be ready to do it. And I did it. But I feel, again, a little bit more preparation time. I think something else could have happened. I mean, firstly, as I said, I worked with a lot of other directors. I think Sanjay sir was there for a couple of scenes that I was in. So the other directors were very willing to work, but you're already in the scene. So you've already done the wide. So there's some things that you might be able to bring in on a close, and then there's some things that you're just like, I wish I had done that. I think also there's, for me, I get fidgety in one spot. I like to move. I like to work with, everything. And I felt in some places I became very still and very, in one place. Some places I would be like, can I sit like this? And they were like, no, sit on your chair. Because I feel, it kind of gives a little how texture to the scene, you could say, instead of always being sitting on your chair, doing the same kind of things. Maybe come towards Alam, get a little bit close to her instead of, maybe reaching across the table, taking her hand, different things like that. I don't know. I think maybe it's just, working with the other directors, they were also waiting for, directions from the top. So maybe it was just his perspective that this is, how, Cartwright is. Maybe it added something to the character from his mind that, he's not too here and there. He's quite, he does what he does in a certain way. My Italian teacher, she always told me, she said, make sure you always listen to your director. I will say that, जैसे मैंने पहले बोला कि I think there were a lot of days that I was shooting at the end of those days.
Okay.
So we were doing a lot of closes for a long time, and most of the time I was the last one, for my closes.
Okay.
So it's not that I'm trying to be the victim here in any way. But I was told things like, Jason, you have 45 minutes, we've got to, Yeah, so I've done some massive scenes in there with a very little bit amount of time. Now, I've done them in that time that I didn't even have the time to go and look at the playback. So that's where I was like, all right. But then again, I'm not someone who's going to sit there and throw a tantrum. I'm like, all right, if I have, 6 balls to make 50 runs, I'm going to hit as many sixes as I can. And that's the mindset that I always come from, that, give it the best in what you've got. To be honest, no, I don't think he ever actually directed me. It was
just
it was mostly assistants. It was mostly the other directors that were there. I think the most he told me or asked me was, "Do you think we got this shot?" And that was the wide with Mallikajaan on that scene of where she gets raped. And that was pretty much it. One time he told me, he said, "You're looking fat today." And I was a little bloated because I had just come back from Chennai and I was a little bit big for a role that I was doing in between all of this. But yeah, there wasn't a lot that he was, putting into my character, which again, I felt like I wanted to sit with him a little bit more, understand a little bit more. I did, and I felt in some ways that it was, it was like, a one-shot stop kind of a thing. So I was like, all right, and I take whatever I can, I'll take the most out of it. I mean, I'm that kind of person कि मैं हर किसी के साथ, eventually I'm talking to them, because I need that information. So I get pally with, obviously our DOPs and, everyone. By the end of it, most of the set is, just, very pally with me. And I like that because I feel like, then I'm like working with a team. Again, I mean, small things were like, I would ask, what episode are we doing? And people would tell me, oh, shayad 5 or 6. And I'm like, shayad? Look, how am I supposed to be here? Am I supposed to be here? For an actor, I like those, when I'm getting propped up and when, people are telling me exactly what happens. I can remember the first day I came into my vanity van and two chaps came inside. One guy was firstly telling me of the amount of experience he had in his TV commercials and stuff like that. And I was like, and I listen. I'm that kind of a person. I'm just there, okay, that's, what you've come to tell me. He's very excited, I think, to be working with Sanjay Leela. And both of what these two guys told me, I brought to set, and I was told, you're doing none of that. So I was like, okay. And I'm just that guy. And I didn't see that guy again. One of the guys, I never saw him again after that. So I don't know what happened to him, but obviously he had made some mistakes. I can say that you deal with a lot. To be able to hold your character, eventually you've got to, and maybe Mr. Bhansali has worked with, such great actors. I have a feeling he has something in his mind that says, if you're a good actor, bring it. And you're supposed to know who you are, in some sense. Now, for me, that's absolutely okay. And I'll go with that. But then I would like to know the story. I would like to know exactly what we're doing, where we are in the story. And I guess, yeah, it is what it is. So actually, मेरा पहले सपना cricketer बनना था.
Okay, you wanted to be a cricketer?
Yeah, it was a very different dream. मैंने बहुत लोगों के लिए खेला. अशोक मांकर, दिलीप बंसाकर, ये सब लोग के साथ खेला. And they always liked me. But एक था कि रणजी ट्रॉफी खेलने के लिए मुझे इंडियन पासपोर्ट लेना था. And I didn't want to give up my British citizenship. So, but एक चीज़ है कि India's always been in my heart.
Okay.
I feel more Indian than I do a British man, because I've lived here all my life. I was born and raised here. My friend circle is here. Everything that I've dealt with in life has all been pretty much Indian. I love Indian food. So, फिर मैंने मतलब बिजनेस में गया था डैडी के साथ और पापा ने बोला ये सब क्रिकेट विकेट सब छोड़ दो, forget it. किया मैंने 3-4 साल, फिर बोर होके मैं बोला डैड अभी मुझे एक्टिंग करना है, बट मुझे इधर ही करना है,
बॉम्बे
इंडिया में बॉलीवुड में. तो उसने बोला ठीक है जाके स्टडी कर लो. तो I went, I studied in New York, I came back, and then I studied with Anupam Kher as well. I've done a few workshops. Yeah, I've done a few workshops. It's always been, India is in me. Most of my friends will tell you कि भाई वो Indian ही है, Indian ही जैसे सोचता है, Indian जैसे बात करता है. Honestly, I live in South Mumbai. I speak probably more Hindi than most South Bombay people do, even the friend circles that I'm in. I would think that they speak more Gujarati. I'd never learned Guju. But as far as Hindi goes, they're like, his Hindi is way better than mine. Speak to him. So there's just a place of India in me. And I guess this is the the reason why I'm here. This is so many of my classmates from New York have said, Jason, you're wasting your time. You've got the American Hollywood look. I'm very good with accents. I can do English, American. I can do all kinds of accents. Again, it was just something that I wanted to be here. And I'm happy. I think now if there is work on any side of the coin, I'm ready to explore. Why not? Because as an actor, you grow, right? So, yeah, if I have to go to England or if I have to go to America or any other, I would love to do French films. I would love to do a German film. They've got some great, film industries over there. So why not? I'm always ready to explore. Yeah, for sure. So I'm just thankful. I'm thankful for Bhansali sir to have cast me in this. Even if it is another English officer all again. I think it's quite challenging, actually. I've played British officers for the last 8 years now in the industry. I have to bring something new every time. every time I've got to have something that is going to inspire someone and say, oh, he's actually quite a good British officer, and he's not like the last time he played it. So for me, that's quite challenging. I always have to bring some nuance that's new. Might be a small tick, might be a small tweak to the accent, things I always have to be playing around with. So this was quite funny that, you know, I put that little bit of, you know, Angrezi tone in it. I said todo to Sonakshi. So that was interesting, yeah. As an actor, I think you limit yourself only to where you're setting your own limitations. I played a very small character in a web series called State of Siege quite a few years back. And it was very different. It was a Jew. Yes, it was. It was of a foreigner in India still. I think it was a... Yeah, so it was a, you know, very different role for me because they even wanted that accent. The look, I had a beard, I don't think many people even recognized me. A few people did actually. In Dubai, I got a call saying, is that you as the Jew in State of Siege? And I was like, yeah. So I think now, because, and this is why I'm so thankful to Bhansali for picking me, is there was quite a lot that I've displayed in this. There was a lot of different angles, you know, aggression, a slightly softer tone with the women, you know, interrogation, very, very different in a lot of ways, and quite a lengthy part. So people saw that I have quite a bit of, you know, I can't say that I'm talented, but they know I can bring life to a character. Whereas I think before kya hota hai ki aaya, thok diya, khatam. You know, so in that way they're like very one set mind that this is all he can play. But now, because I've been, you know, showcased in such a way that I think now creatively, वो creative department से शायद कोई सोचना चाहिए. अभी I'm like, you know, putting it out there. कोई सोचना चाहिए कि भाई ये इसका थोड़ा सा मेकअप करके ये भी कुछ और खेल सकता है. You know, I could be a North Indian, I could play a Rajasthani, you know, with a little darker makeup. I could play a Kashmiri person. There's quite a bit, you know, but now I think I've given the perspective that I can work.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just, okay, I need an English officer, let's go. No, this guy can actually do something. Let me create something for him. And that's the space that I've always wanted to get into, is not get the job that is already assigned as a British officer, but actually work into the mind of the creative people that are sitting back there, the script writers, that, no, I can actually write a character for this guy. I mean, I've gotten so many different reactions as what we were discussing. People said, I hate you, but you made me hate you so much that you've done a really good job.
You made me fall in love with you.
And, well, I hope in some way. But yeah, I've gotten great reactions so far, you know, and that's what was so amazing about it, that, you know, I'm in the scene where I'm literally, you know, ordering the death of, you know, the hero. You know, I also get shot by the heroine. Again, I didn't meet. I did not meet Taha. We met because obviously I'm, you know, getting him. One scene that we did together. So that was pretty much, I mean, maybe 1 or 2 days just walking to our vanities. Sanjay set up quite a big set over there. So again, there was not a lot of interaction. I think I probably interacted the most with Sonakshi. I never saw Shekhar sir or his son. We all only met, you know, at the premiere. So I honestly haven't really engaged too much with any of the actors. And that's what I think, you know, I could have maybe brought out a little bit, I don't know, some different nuances if I had, you know, maybe met, you know, gelled with a little bit, understood maybe the storyline a little bit more. I don't know. I think, I don't know why I always felt like there was a lot of stress to get things done. You know, there was 2 units as well working most of the time, so that can be quite stressful for the team. Yeah, everyone's in their own vanity van in that sense. So not too much interaction, I would say. You know, it was, I'm coming to a different scene with a whole bunch of new people almost every day, except for Faridan. And I'll remember, you know, in the beginning when the first time that I came in, and it was when I'm sitting with Sonakshi on the bed, three ADs came and literally, like, they took me into the corner of, you know, we were inside of this one studio, and they were like, "You're shooting with Sonakshi today. Like, you know, right?" I was like, "Yeah, I know who she is." "Yeah, but you know who you have a scene with her." So in my mind, I'm thinking, what do you think? I'm gonna inappropriately touch her or something like that? That's the kind of feeling that I was getting. Like, you know, I also do understand this. There's a lot of, especially in the foreign bracket, using for English officers, there's a lot of these Russian guys who are just being picked up from Goa. You have no idea of who they are. They don't have any idea of acting or what is to be done. They have no camera knowledge. They're coming just literally, as we say, for their chai and their roti, and that's pretty much it. So I can understand from that part. And I was actually a little bit nervous with Sonakshi because I found Sonakshi extremely beautiful in Dabang. So, and it was like a numbers day. I can't fully remember it, but it was like the 10th day of the 10th month, and I think her movie released in 2010 or something like that. There was numbers. It was a day of numbers, and I was just like, yeah, I'm sitting next to Sonakshi. It was kind of like one of my dreams coming true. That, you know, because I watched her the first time in Dabang, and I was like, I would love to act with her. And I've always thought to this, that Sonakshi has a certain glow that a lot of other actresses just don't have. There's just an aura that she has. And I loved working with her. I enjoyed every minute of it. Happiness is number one. Fame, you know, being a movie star, all of that, that all is secondary. I do a lot of things, you know, in my life as well. So I have done a lot of things in my life. So it's not that if I don't have acting, it's done for me, you know. God has blessed me with, you know, a lot of opportunity. And I'm here. So this has worked out for me, you know. I might not be the biggest actor, but I'm very happy with where I am in life.